Well, number 5 Iowa State women's basketball lost to number 8 North Carolina. I wasn't really sure who to put at 5, or they probably were not either on Iowa State, to be fair. But Iowa State had a lead, 34 to 24, 22 lead at halftime. But North Carolina had 51 points in the second half, and they only allowed 29. I mean, come on. I'm not making this stuff up. There's obviously Iowa State. I want to go over the stats for the game, and like I break it down like I do on dance floor. First of all, Iowa State shot 34.4%, 22 for 64 to be exact, 9 for 35 on threes, 25.7%. Yikes, that's a lot of attempts, and you missed a lot. 11 for 14 on free throws. That's usually typical for Iowa State to make the majority of the free throws. 46 rebounds, 16 assists, 4 steals, 3 blocks, 17 turnovers. That's way too many of them. And 22 fouls. North Carolina shot 40.7% from the field, 24-59 overall, 7 for 16 on threes, which is less than Iowa State on making threes, but they had a higher percentage. 18 for 28 on free throws. Granted, North Carolina missed 10 free throws. That's still not good. 38 rebounds. They were out-rebounded by Iowa State. 13 assists, which is less than Iowa State. But they had 10 steals, 10 blocks. They only had 10 turnovers. They committed one more foul, 23. Iowa State only scored 13 points off the bench, while North Carolina only scored 1. It's simple. North Carolina starters scored more than Iowa State starters. That's a fact in this game. So who does North Carolina play going forward after this top 5 win? I expect Iowa State to drop some. They have to play at Indiana for the Big Ten ACC Challenge, and Indiana is like number 6 in the country. They got UNC Wilmington on December 7th. That's currently 1-4. They should win that game. Wofford, that's currently 3-2, on December 11th. And I want to list 2 more games that are notable. South Carolina Upstate, 1-4. They should win that game in theory. Then number 22, Michigan. That could be higher on December 20th. So, for the Jumpman Invitational, which is in Charlotte, North Carolina. So, in theory, they have 2 tricky games, but then they got like the middle 3. They should win in theory. In theory. So, now for Iowa State side of things, they got like SIUE, that's currently winless. They should win that game, and that's on Tuesday, November 29th. But a week from this Wednesday, they have to play at Iowa. That's currently a top 10 team, but I don't know if they're going to be top 10 by then. But Iowa State has to go face like Jacksonville, that's currently 4-2 on the 11th. They should win that game in theory. It's the Iowa game and at Villanova, that's going to be a tough game. They're not going to back down. Villanova's not. So, and they got like 3-2 Drake on the 22nd, just to name some games before conference play. And granted, they do have like 1, 2, maybe 3 games in theory they shouldn't really lose. But Drake is not a bad team, so I would not sleep on them. So maybe just 2 games in theory, but the rest could be tricky. Really, it's more like the Iowa game and the Villanova game that are tricky. And that's in UCanesville, Connecticut, which is kind of technically closer to Villanova, technically. So, two tricky games here, besides the Drake game. But, you know, I just want to break that down. Like and subscribe if you know already. Let's get into 400 subscribers and more by the end of this year, sometime in the future.